Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video here. This time I want to talk a little bit about the PlayStation 4 Pro, just a little bit. I haven't got a ton of information about it or anything. The main reason I wanted to make this video was to make a comparison, or to show the comparison images. They're animated GIFs, or GIFs. Damn that word, I hate that word. It's a terrible word. GIFs, I guess. They're animated GIFs showing off the graphical comparisons between PS4 and PS4 Pro. And there is a lot of controversy going around, a lot of hate and a lot of, stuff, because, I mean, even for me, like, I'm not as super hyped for the PS4 Pro as I am for Scorpio. That said, I still want this to be clear. I still think the Xbox One is a piece of junk. I can't even, like... Anyways, so... But the Scorpio was definitely more impressive as far as specs-wise and what they were talking about that would be able to do. Apparently, like, the Scorpio is going to be able to do native 4K resolution, while the PlayStation 4 Pro is not going to do that. It's only going to be upscaled. But there's a lot of great news about it, though. But yeah, you got to remember, too, and the weird thing, too, is, again, another thing is the PS4 Pro will not support HDR Blu-ray. I don't personally think this is a big deal. I just think it's strange, mostly because Sony invented Blu-ray. They invented Blu-ray. This is Sony's baby. They invented that crap. So it's like, what? Why would you not support your own player, like your own, like your own tech? It's very strange. But their reasoning behind it, and these guys know what they're doing. Their reasoning is, look, they can tell what people are watching, what kind of movies, Blu-ray or streaming. And apparently the streaming numbers are so much bigger on their system that what's being used is streaming movies, streaming, digital, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu and all that. That's all being used way more often. So they were like, well, we're just going to keep our system lower priced and not put Blu-ray HDR support because it would cost more and we don't need it. Customers are streaming more than they are watching physical copies. It's not to say physical copies aren't still a thing and all that, but that's their reasoning for it, and it makes sense. Maybe they'll do like a separate version. That's what I think makes sense, right? Like have an HDR Blu-ray supported one that costs $100 more. That's optional. It's like getting a difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Slim. You know what I mean? You have a separate version that you can spend more money on. I think that would make more sense than to just flat out say we're not going to support it. So I don't know. But right now, that's what we know, is that the PS4 Pro will not support HDR Blu-ray. So that's very weird. It's also upscaled 4K. It's not like native. But the thing about that is, though, if you go and read it, like, I'm not the technical dude and all that stuff, but if you go and read articles, you go look into it, Sony knows what they're doing. Even if it's just upscaled, like, they're going to make it work and they're going to make it beautiful. And I'm going to show you the images that we have here. This was from Games Radar. Made this article that I have open, and we'll look through some images real quick. So this is the top screen is PS4 Pro, the bottom screen is the regular PS4, and of course the crazy thing too is Uncharted. The PS4 is gorgeous. It has some amazing graphics, like especially when it comes to exclusives. This has always been the thing for consoles. Exclusives are always the best looking games for a console. The ones that are on multi-platform, you never get the best out of their graphics. And they'll have great graphics, but you never get the best. Only exclusives have the best graphics ever. So seeing Uncharted on the PS4 Pro, and it's hard to see too because the GIFs themselves aren't like perfect timing. They're not exact. They're not like a direct 100% comparison. You have to watch both and see what's. But you could tell, man. If you look at it long enough, you can see that the PS4 Pro far more clear, sharper, much sharper, which in itself, I feel is truly impressive because this game on PS4 is incredible. Like, visually alone, not just game, like the story and the gameplay. The visuals are incredible. So just the fact that the PS4 Pro can make it look that much sharper, that much more clear, that much just brighter, and it's beautiful. It's like, it's pretty damn impressive. Because like for me, it's like one of those things where it's hard to believe you could make Uncharted 4 look better than it already does. Anybody that's played that game probably knows what I'm talking about. If you haven't played the game, you can only go by what you see. But Uncharted 4 it's whoosh, just mind-blowing, visually incredible, just super incredible. So that's Uncharted 4. Let me scroll down a little bit here. We got Zero Dawn. And, you know, of course, this is stuff that's hard to tell. Especially, you gotta remember, too, like, this isn't on a 4K TV. It's not, you know, whatever. But you can tell, even just in the GIFs alone, you can tell it's much sharper, it's much brighter, vibrant, crisper, clearer, you know. And the crazy thing is, because the game already looks beautiful on the base console, like the normal console, the PS4, the regular PS4. And then you got the PS4 Pro. And it, you know, you can tell it's superior. You can tell, like, it is superior. There's no denying it. You know what I mean? Horizon Watch Dogs 2 here. Comparison: top is the PS4 Pro, bottom is regular PS4. So you can just tell, man. It's the colors, the sharpness. You know, it definitely looks a lot better. I'm not. I've been wanting a 4K TV just because. Damn, I hate my hair so much. I would guess. I've been wanting a 4K TV. I don't know when I'll get one. It could be another year or two. You know, it could be a while before I get a 4K TV. You know, and at this point now, I do want the HDR. I wasn't really paying attention to HDR even when. Excuse me. Sorry. Even when the Scorpio was announced. You know, I mean, all this stuff has been. Talked about since the Scorpio was announced. And you know, the funny thing to me is, like, as this reminded me when I was talking about the Scorpio, and I was like, you know, you shouldn't be buying an Xbox One right now. There's no point to buying an Xbox One. There's not enough console exclusive games on the Xbox One to make it worth buying right now. I said, I made a video, wait to buy it, wait for the Scorpio, just get the Scorpio, don't buy the Xbox One now. You're gonna get a few games, maybe at the most, a few, that will make your system feel like, I'm so glad I got this system, you know, like, otherwise you could get any of the consoles, it doesn't matter, you get PS4 or Xbox One, it doesn't matter. For me, you know, this is of course preference too, like, I prefer my PS4, games and interface wise, but the funny thing to me was, when I saw the PS4 Pro, originally, when I saw it, I was like, that's cool, but it didn't impress me as much as the Scorpio. Like, the difference between the PS4 and the PS4 Pro. Visually, when I look at the visuals, I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. Specs-wise, I was like, you know, Scorpio was like, whoa, there's no reason to get an Xbox One now, wait for that. I saw the PS4 Pro stuff, and I was like, you know, just get a PS4. That said, I mean, the PS4 Pro is obviously much better. When we look at the visuals and stuff, and that's just looking at images that are comparing it. And of course, it might be different when it actually launches, but I mean, these, I don't know, I think they're pretty good comparisons. They're not going to be 100%. This is early, like, footage and stuff like that. One thing I loved about the PlayStation, the Tomb Raider GIFs, I don't really, these ones are hard to tell. Like, there's really not much, like, it's, there's nothing to go by on that one. I didn't even see the Elder Scrolls one. That's a fun game. If you haven't played Elder Scrolls Online, it's a really cool game. I like it anyways. A lot of people didn't. I don't know, whatever. I thought it was a pretty cool game. One thing that I loved about the PlayStation 4 meeting was the developers themselves. Like, they had a Q&A kind of thing with some of the developers. It was the dudes that do, what is it, Insomniac Games? The guys for the new Spider-Man? I think it's Insomniac Games, right? They had Naughty Dog and Guerilla Games for Horizon Zero Dawn. They had a few developers up there, and they were talking to them about the new PS4 Pro. And what I loved about it was that the developers, all the developers, were so excited. They were like, 4K and HDR are something that you cannot just read about, hear about. You have to see it for yourself to really believe anything that's said behind it. You know, it's one of those believe the hype kind of things. Like, if it's hyped up, they said you really have to see it for yourselves. The guy from Naughty Dog said, this is how we want you to experience our games. This is how we've always wanted you to experience our games. This is how you should experience our games. I mean, these guys weren't trying to sell a product. They were very passionate, and they, you know, it wasn't them just trying to sell a PS4 Pro. In my opinion, when I was watching them talk about it, they were really excited. They really deeply cared about what they were talking about. They weren't just like, oh yeah, PS4 Pro, it's upgraded. You know, they weren't trying to sell a product. They were telling you, this is incredible. This is amazing. You have to see it like this, you know. One thing I loved about the developer from Naughty Dog, he actually also pointed out, he said, you know, if you think this is beautiful now, This is these games that are getting upscaled. Wait until you see these games when they're built from the ground up, built for 4K HDR. You know, in that support system, when they're built specifically for it. Because right now the games are being upscaled, no matter what. The games have not, but they've already been built for the default normal resolution that we have now. They haven't been built from scratch for HDR or 4K. So I love that about the guy from Naughty Dog. He's like, you know, this stuff's gonna be beautiful. You're gonna be blown away by it right now, but you just wait and see what we'll do when we build this from the, you know, ground up. And I was just like, oh man, it was pretty awesome, man. It was really cool. Oh my gosh. And those were like the two main things. I wanted to show the images, the comparisons between the GIFs, because it clearly looks very much nicer. And the crazy thing is, like I said, it's crazy to me because these graphics, even on the Xbox One, these graphics on the base console are beautiful. They're really beautiful. They're really impressive. And then just to see that difference, to know that the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio whatever 4K HDR is going to make it that much better, you know. And the one thing I thought was funny, there is some talk about it, like how HDR apparently is getting a firmware update for PS4. So you don't even need to buy a new console to get HDR support with PS4. And those of you that don't know already, just a quick note, HDR and 4K are obviously, both of these, not just 4K resolution, but HDR as well, require the TV for it. If you don't have an HDR supported TV, this is a new thing, so you know you would need a new TV for it. I'm not sure if it had any. I don't. You know, I should have looked it up. I don't know. I don't think it has any effect on any like the normal TVs like that you already have and stuff. But yeah, so HDR and 4K definitely need TV. I mean, we already know that about 4K. You definitely needed like a 4K TV for that kind of thing. But HDR also pointed out you need a TV that, you know, has HDR or whatever the stuff. Not the tech guy, man. But yeah, so and I really loved the meeting when I saw that. Especially like I think I watched most of the PlayStation meeting. Probably missed some of it. But the one where the guy was asking the developers questions, and they had all three of them from the three different groups up there, and the way they're really enthusiastic about it, and I don't know, to me it was they couldn't have been lying, you know. I mean, maybe they were. I don't think they were acting though. I don't think they were fake, and they were really like, you will be blown away by this. You need to experience this game in 4K. You need to experience it in HDR, you know. And they did have different opinions too, you know. But that's why I really loved it when Naughty Dog pointed. He was like, "You just wait and see when they're built from scratch specifically for this." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" So definitely, specs wise, it definitely seems like Scorpio is going to beat PS4 Pro. At the same time, I don't really care personally. Those of you that know me, probably anybody watching this probably knows how much I hate the Xbox One, so I don't care what kind of upgrade the Scorpio will be. I mean, I'd probably end up getting it at some point, but I can make a whole video alone on how much I hate Microsoft and the Xbox One. You know, I still love playing on it. I like my games that I have on it. I'll play my games on it, but oh my gosh, I wish I could just throw it in the garbage. I did have some other things on my mind throughout I've been watching the stuff. I've been, you know, I browse this stuff all the time, browse gaming news all the time, and I did have some thoughts, but I forget what they were. I was planning to take notes. So this video in itself was specifically to show you the animated GIFs and to show the difference and talk about that, the crisper, sharper thing. So I don't right now. I don't really have any more opinions on PS4 Pro at the moment. I had a few thoughts that I know I could have added here, but I just didn't write them down at the time that I had them. So I just wanted to quickly talk about it, share what I did have on my mind. Telling you, man, that the meeting where the developers were talking about how excited they are for 4K and HDR, it wasn't fake, you know. It wasn't like they were just trying to sell us a console or anything like that. They were like, you need to see this, you know. And you know, then of course there's the stuff online on Twitter, how Xbox is going around like, we have true 4K resolution and all that stuff. But even so, and I get that, I totally get that. I have no doubt in my mind that PlayStation will, even with the upscale, will make it amazing, because they know what they're doing. This is a company that knows what they're doing. I'm not saying Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing. I'm just saying, even if they're not true 4K, I bet you we'll be blown away by this stuff. Like, I mean, just looking at the comparison images, it's I'm telling you, man, with the graphics already being as beautiful as they are, and seeing that you can clearly tell there's a superior difference. It's just like, I couldn't even, like, that's insane, man. And that's the same gen too. That's not, you know, it's like not like a new system. It's not 5-10 years from now where they made a new console. This is just a little upgrade, and it's pretty crazy. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. What you think of the 4K? Do you have an HDR TV? Do you have a 4K TV? I don't know when I'll get one. Probably most of us don't even have one. I know people do have them, but I mean, like, a lot of us regular average Joes or whatever, you know, still don't have it. I've been looking into getting a new TV, so I don't know. See what happens there. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think. What's up with the PS4 Pro? What do you hate about it? Are you, like, pretty upset about the Blu-ray HDRs not getting support? It's very strange. It's, like, super strange to me, but I guess if they're trying to make this system cheaper and not have... Like, I've been reading comments from other people talking about if they did have HDR Blu-ray support, it would cost another $100. I don't know why. I guess the parts in the you know, system, I guess the components required would cost more money. I think that's crap. But that was the decision they made. They said, you know what, people are streaming more than they are watching physical stuff. So makes sense, too. It really does. I mean, that's where we're going. At some point, that's what everything is going to be. I've been saying this ever since On Live, when I first found On Live a few years back. And I wasn't expecting it to take as long as it has, but eventually, probably after I'm dead, everything will be in the cloud, streamed and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, but that's where technology is going. You know, everything's going into streaming. Everything's been streaming for a really long time. More and more people are getting into it. Internet infrastructures, I guess, are getting better and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, I don't know, we'll see. But you know that's where it's heading, though. I mean, that's where it's been heading for years now. Is stream. Everything's streaming. Cloud. It's awesome and scary because the cloud is a very dangerous place, man. It's open crap. There is security, but as with anything, no matter what it is, even if it's not cloud, security is not 100%, man. It's just, you know, anyways. That's a whole nother topic, right? Whatever, man. I tend to ramble sometimes. Thanks for joining me, guys. Let me know what you think. What's up? Do you like the comparisons? Do you not like the comparisons? Are you more excited for the Scorpio? I'm definitely more excited for the PS4, just because the interface alone of Xbox makes me want to just throw up and smash my system to pieces. Just the interface. All this time. Since day one. They've done these updates and they're all useless. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. I'll see you guys later. Bye.